Alright, here we go. Gonna hop right onto it so it doesn't take me way too long to do this. Even though it will, even though I always say that. Okay, here we go. So this is the level 92, the respec Zealer. I'm gonna do this on Players 8 because with the new weapon, honestly, Players 8 feels kind of how Players 1 used to feel a long time ago, maybe. But yeah, it's so this is what I've been doing. I got from 92 to almost a third of the way to 93, just kind of like playing around with the EBOTDZ on, whoa, unique ring. Nano fuel, very bad. On Players 8. And it's going good so far. So I've changed the build up, maybe as you can see, if you remember the last video. Obviously I've switched from the Stormlash to the EBOTDZ, but I've also switched a couple of other things. So overall, I would say the EBOTDZ is quite noticeably more powerful than Stormlash. I was worried that it wouldn't be as good because Stormlash has the what do you call it? The frickin' static field proc. But I don't know. This is just so much more powerful that kind of doesn't matter. So I'll show you the stats in a minute here. So with my Merc's Might Aura, I'm up to 9.5k Zeal. Pretty fucking good. Pretty good, right? 9.8k attack rating. So what I did, so I got to 2k life, I got the max block, and then I shoved the rest into strength for a little extra damage. So I was just trying to like pump up damage as much as I could get. And with the stats from EBOTDZ, there was just, I had a lot more stats to go around. So I think I have more vitality. Yeah, I do. I have more vitality than I used to. Also because I switched back to Haas, I'll get to that. But a lot more strength. And my attack rating is pretty much just as good. Anyway, so like I was saying, so one area in which the Stormlash definitely is better than the EBOTDZ is when it comes to physical immunes. So because of the static field proc and the about 500 lightning damage on Stormlash, honestly that you can deal with physical immunes with just that. But because EBOTDZ does not have that, has no elemental damage whatsoever, what I did was it was not as good dealing with physical immunes. And here's an example of some physical immune monsters. You'll see how it goes. So now I am entirely dependent on my Merc's Decrepified to deal with physical immunes, which is not totally ideal, but I'm making it work for the sake of using this weapon and it just being so awesome, basically. And so it works okay. It works pretty well. And so what I decided to do was stop using Exile and switch back to Haas. Okay. So this is the shield I was using before I made Exile, like whenever the hell I made it, a long time ago. Okay, so this is a dangerous area for my Merc. He's amp damage and he's dealing with these physical immune guys. Yeah, but see, this is going well. This is going well. Let me get this guy. Come on, man. I can have a freaking Decrepify or... Oh god, I hate when those guys run away from me like that. Okay, so I switched out of Exile. I switched back to Haas. This is the shield I was using before I made Exile. It's even personalized. It's 197 up Haas. I had an rune in it. I took that out and put it in just some ED jewel I had lying around because I didn't need the resistance because I'm using a Chains of Honor and stuff. So, and the reason I did that is because dealing with physical immunes and needing my merch to crepify, the life tap from Exile constantly is overriding it. So I decided, and it works, you know, it works because my merc has such a high chance, 33% of casting Decrepify, that, you know, we just switch off life tap, Decrepify, life tap, Decrepify. But it just got a little bit annoying, to be honest. So I figured, well, let's just keep the Decrepify on, get rid of Exile. And the other thing I decided to do is switch out my helmet. Instead of, because EBOTDZ also doesn't have any... Oh, see, that guy was physical immune? Yeah, we got him down. Because EBOTDZ also doesn't have any crushing blow, and so I was down to like 15%. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, this is exactly the situation in which Exile is better. Is, you know, a big pack of souls or something you can't leech off of that can do a lot of damage. That's basically the situation in which EBOTDZ is better. But for the most part, I mean, sorry, in which Exile is better than Haas. But for the most part, I'm sticking with this. And the thing is, the lifesteal from EBOTDZ is so high that in most of the time, like, if I encounter monsters I could actually leech off of, it's almost like instantaneous full health. Like maybe 1 or 2 hits to get like full health, you know, depending on how much life I've lost. And anyway, yeah. So, whole pack. My merc is being a total idiot. He needs to crepify. One day he will make it here, and he'll actually cast his own. Okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, so because I didn't have much crushing blow, I decided to go for the Guillaumes, and so this has a 30 ED jewel and 15 max damage. 30 ED, 15 max damage jewel in it. It was on my Whirlwind bar, but I put it on this guy. So I'm trying to I really just went for like pure damage. So without this Decrepify, now, yeah, 9.5k Zeal with my Merc's Might Orb, which is pretty dang good. 50% crushing blow. What is it? Something like over 60% or 64% deadly strike. Pretty cool, pretty good. And yeah, so it's working okay. There are some situations, like I said, in which I would prefer Exile. Stormlash is a little bit better with physical immunes, but overall, it's like it's better because the damage is just so high, just so much higher. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you know, I'm like one-shotting things on players 8. You know, I didn't used to be able to do that, I'll tell you. And yeah, so it's an experiment. I'm not sure I'll stick with this build forever, but so far I think it's good. Maybe one day I will switch back to Exile, because I actually just found, I think it was in my last video, I just found another Exile base that would be really good. So if I could make that into an Exile, maybe I'll do it. But right now I'm pretty low on runes, to be honest. So yeah, this is the respec, man. It's pretty good. Another area in which this version of the build comes is a little less good, and one reason Exile is better is actually Exile has freeze target, which, I don't know, you kind of think is not that important, especially if you have like cold damage and your merc has Decrepify, but actually in certain cases, especially when you're doing bail runs, on these guys, the Minions of Destruction, I'm actually going to come down here just a little bit to get the Decrepify off of me. There are times when these guys, because I don't have freeze target, they're all attacking, and so they kind of stun my merc. They sort of stun lock my merc sometimes, and so he can sometimes once or twice he's died from that. but it's worse, especially if he has Decrepify. So that's why I've taken to just popping down here just a little ways when those guys come out, and that seems to solve it. But it is kind of nice to have the freeze target from Exile. So, you know what? Overall, it's a mixed bag, but basically it's all the way damage and a little more defensive. So this is the Bale kill. And this, I have to time this. This is a little, I'm not sure if it's quicker or not than Stormlash, because I do have quite a bit of Crushing Blow, but I don't have the static field. And those first few static fields, you know, what does the first static field take? Like a quarter or something of Bale's life or something? So like that saves you a lot of time, even though I'm doing massively more damage with every hit. But yeah, overall I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's just super cool to have it. The Poison Nova is like pretty fun. And yeah, I honestly, it's kind of a joke to do Players 1 anymore with this setup, because it's like I'm one-shotting a lot of stuff. Yeah, have I covered everything? I just wanted to make that quick. You know, those are the stats. 8.1k without the Might Aura. You know, attack rating pretty good. I have my Demon Limb. Here's that base that I was talking about. I think it's actually really good. You know, it's not a vortex, but what the hell. So, yeah, man, it's working out pretty dang good. Yeah, it's just a case of massive damage, like overriding everything else. You know, the other build was like, you know, it was more defensive and better at dealing with physical immunes, but this is just better at dealing with, you know, every other thing you encounter. You know, it's just like you just rip shit apart with this, and it's a cool weapon. You know, it's just fun. Yeah. You have to be a little smarter with your Merc. You know, especially when you're dealing with physical immunes, you have to like kind of arrange it so your Merc is attacking and casting his Decrepify on what you're trying to, on the physical immune guy you're trying to kill. And actually, there are certain cases, there are certain monsters where an elite will have Stone Skin and physical immune, and my Merc's Decrepify can't break it. Some monsters he can, some monsters he can't break it. And on those, that's kind of an unfortunate case in which I can't do anything with the bots. I ran into one of those once, and I went and I switched to my Stormlash, and it also took a while, but you know, I could kill him just with the static fields. Takes like a lot of percentage life early, and then you just kind of slowly chip away at him with the 500 lightning damage, and it eventually works. But yeah, man, that's the respec, the EBOTDZ Zealer. Again, as I say, bit of a mixed bag. But that's the dealio, yo. So, yeah, trying to make this a shorter video. And those are the stats. That's the build. I'll catch you later.